The closing line is live. I am Gabe Morency. Let's do this in the countdown to kickoff. Is on the National Football League Week 15 card, of course, already began Thursday, and then a couple of games on the card yesterday. We love the Kansas City Chiefs all week long, and the Kansas City Chiefs did not disappoint. The pickings are a little bit slimmer today, but we've got Donnie Rightside. Maybe Donnie's got some angles on some of these games that I don't. And I'm not like anti-NFL today. I'm looking forward to the day. We're going to have a profitable day. I'm not like, oh, fuck the NFL mode. But at the same point in time, not a lot is jumping off the screen at me right now. I like a couple of games. I like one game specifically that I'm betting big on. All week I've had two games that I liked, all right? Kansas City was one of them. Kansas City catches. I've got another one that I'm going big on again. But as far as sprinkle here and dabble there, I'm just not seeing it today, to be honest with you. Let's see what Donnie Rightside has to say. Donnie Rightside steps up. What's up, Donnie?
Man, going good. Another day, another dollar for us here. Trying to look forward to some of these games. Big games, Gabe. Hey, we're fans of a lot of these points. So you got Buffalo Bills here in a big home game. Eagles going on the road to the Giants with a big home game. But you're right. There's a lot of stuff you have to pick and choose from because a lot of haves and have-not games here where you're looking at games, that are, 16 and a half, double-digit lines across the board. Who they playing up next week? We'll go over each and every game as we do every week here on the closing line. Have some fun. But you're right. There are some tricky instances and scenarios that we're going to want to go over today.
To me, one of the problems is, Donnie, is the fact that we're at the time of the year right now. The odds makers, man, they're sharper than a fucking rusty nail, all right? And, you look at the props. Good example, last night I had Alex Smith over 234 passing yards. They win the game. They look good. He ends up with 231. A week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Drew Brees, over under 269.5 passing yards. He lands at 269. The completion props are all jacked up. I don't even have any long field goal props for you today, guys. You're going to ask me. I went over them this morning. They're all at 46.5 fucking yards. Really, we got to lay minus 150 in a couple of spots to kick a 47-yard field goal. Like the books, it's like holiday season where they raise the price on the fucking Beanie Babies or whatever the fuck is hot this year. And I know Beanie Babies haven't been hot. No, Cabbage Patch Kids. It's like they raised the price because, it's the holidays. Let's jam them. You know what? Fuck you. I'm not going to bet it. You guys think I'm such a big degenerate gambler. I know you. I know the books think, oh, this guy's such a loser. He always bets this prop. He's betted at bad numbers before. Let's just set all the numbers high, and these idiots will bet it anyways. Well, you're wrong. I'm not betting the long field goal props at over 46.5 with the Seattle fucking Seahawks when Blair Walsh fucking can't hit a fucking extra point. So, yeah, the lines are sharp, Donnie. The lines are sharp.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, looking all the way down the card, it's tax season. I know we pay our taxes, in the next couple of months, but right now in the NFL, it's tax season. A lot of these lines shouldn't be but some teams breaking in the new quarterback. Some teams don't give a damn. Some coaches are announcing their resignation before ball games now, so it should be a wild one today.
Yeah, and that coach is Marvin Lewis, actually. So, if it's got about the rotation, let's just jump in right here on this right now. So Marvin Lewis, guys, told the team that he's stepping down. And, they're mutually parting ways. And I feel bad for the guy. He's not a bad coach, but it's like a divorce. It's ugly, a breakup. It has to happen at this point in time. They're not going anywhere. Nothing's going to change if they come back next year with the same team. They finally realize, all right, we've got to bust this up. So this is the end of the line, guys. And it's not just the end of the line for Marvin Lewis. It's the end of the line for Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton's like entering into, I think he's restricted. So no one's really talking about Dalton on the market, but the Bengals have already essentially told him, we're not signing you to a long-term $22 million deal. Because it sounds crazy, but if you look at Andy Dalton's stats and every piece of shit quarterback makes like $20 million now, Dalton's going to make big money. And the Bengals can't do it. And A.J. McCarron is suing the Bengals. All right? If they, it's a fucking mess. People talk about the Browns, but the Bengals are a shit show. So Lewis is gone. Dalton's going to be gone. And A.J. McCarron is suing them, and he's going to be gone. I think they're going to draft Lamar Jackson. You have Joe Mixon, Lamar Jackson, and A.J. Green. You got a nice, fresh, fast, young offense here. But leading into today, Donnie, and let's not forget, Mike Zimmer was the longtime defensive coordinator of where, Donnie? The Cincinnati Bengals. With who?
Yeah.
With Marvin Lewis. They're good fucking friends, bro. Like they're very close, Zimmer and Lewis. I was already thinking that Zimmer would sort of take it easy and not, he needs the win, but he doesn't need to punish and embarrass Marvin Lewis. Now that it's Marvin Lewis's last hurrah here, it's not his last game, but how do you think the Bengal players react, Donnie? Like, I'm almost thinking in the huddle before the game that they went from being not giving a shit to, damn, man, we just got Marvin Lewis fired, bro. Let's go out here. Or even Lewis says, guys, we gave it our fucking best. Let's have some fun today. How do you think this goes down now with the Bengals?
I mean, the one thing that actually got a good laugh out of Gabe is like the whole resignation came in, and it was almost like, only Marvin Lewis is doing. Like, everybody in the organization was praying he would come back, but he was the nobleman falling on the sword, handing in his resignation. But the best part about his resignation, Gabe, is I don't know if it came from the resignation or a quote or somebody was asking him, and he's like, you know what? Out of the realm. I would like to be a GM, and I almost sat back and wanted to just blow a revolver against my forehead and say, it would be, how Bengals would it be if they made Marvin Lewis their GM next?
Oh, you're right. So, yeah, we think the Bengals are smart. All right, you finally moved on, guys. Okay. No. We're going to put him in charge of football operations now. Well, that's almost like what happens with Hugh Jackson, isn't it, in Cleveland? Like, at what fucking point did they realize, all right, it's not all Hugh Jackson's fault, but he is 1-28. So,
and it comes back to the Bengals thing would be to do, because he keeps signing the 1-year extensions there with Cincinnati. So technically he's still on the books for next year under an extension. The whole Bengals philosophy, like, wait a second. So if we move him to GM, we don't even have to pay a new GM probably $1 million. We can save right there. Watch the Bengals go and do it, because it might save them $1 million.
Yeah, it's craziness. All right, so as far as the game is concerned, though, Donnie, what was your take on this game before, and has it changed at all in the last couple hours?
One factor that we wanted to draw last week, which you got to cover in both of those games, was how hard and how physical a game that Cincinnati Bengals game versus the Steelers was that week before, and what it took out of both teams. I mean, the Steelers were lucky to win their football game. They didn't cover that one, and the Bengals were just dead in the water against a really bad Chicago team. One of those games last week that almost sets into motion, like Marvin Lewis is like, you know what, maybe I just can't motivate these guys anymore. If it was a healthy Cincinnati Bengals team coming in, Gabe, saying, you know what, let's just roll football out there and have some fun. But this is a banged-up football team, and this is a business decision game for the Minnesota Vikings. They need to win this football game. But coming into it also, Gabe, this is one of those look-ahead games, because you're going to beat Cincinnati. I mean, that's what you're factoring in this game. How badly do you want to beat Cincinnati? And you're right with friendships as coaches. I don't know how much that goes into it, but hey, if the ball, Gabe, it's 1st and 10 on the 11-yard line and there's 2 minutes to go and they're not calling timeouts, you're trying to ram another touchdown down, you're just going to take the knee and get out of there, because this line is 12. It's not like 6.5 where you just have to win this football game. You're going to blow the team out of the water. Yeah.
That's what, and you're right. That shit matters more in college, where the coach is in complete control. Like Nick Saban doesn't run up the score on his former assistant coaches. It's a great little, way to bet these games. And he's got a lot of them. Like when Colorado State, when McElwain went there, he took it easy. It's like, just let's get out of here. So I agree with you, in that sense. But as you stated, that extra killer touchdown late that maybe they would do against, the Packers or something that they wouldn't do in a spot like this. And let's just, the Vikings are a great team. I'm a big Viking backer. I love these guys. But Donnie, how many times in Mike Zimmer's era has he been 12.5-point favorite before? And
exactly.
Case Keenum laying 12 right now. And another thing is, I got to believe that the Vikings, they see Carson Wentz getting hurt. They don't want to, we're at the time of the year now where it's survive in advance, win in advance. Like, put it this way. Would it surprise you, Donnie, if the final score of this game was 20-10?
No, absolutely not. And you bring up a good point on that, Gabe, because again, it's a game where you're saying there's bigger things on the horizon. So if you're up, 10 points with 4.5 minutes to go at
17-7. You're just, guys, we're gonna win the game. Let's just fucking run the ball, get the fuck out of here. All right.
The mindset, because I was actually close, Gabe, to going with Minnesota, because I think there's a big advantage between them and the Bengals. Bengals have already given up, but the more you look at the football game, this is not like if we win this game, we win the division and we clinch, the number 1 seed, where it's one big party and you're just roll over Cincinnati. This is a game where we're saying, you know what? All that matters is we pick up the W and we move on to next week. Huge game. We go to Green Bay. They have Rodgers back. Maybe they already started prepping for Aaron Rodgers already for next week.
You're damn right they are. You think, man, this is what it comes down to next week. Anyways, Minnesota's thinking, Green Bay's going to win.
Yeah.
It's, I'm not telling you guys, hey, I like the Bengals here. We're breaking down the games and giving you the angles here of a coach leaving and a fact that you got the Vikings who this isn't their role. Like they don't lay these points generally. It's an even 12, not a 12.5. It's actually popping up 12.5 in a couple of spots right now. All right, so rotation-wise, 307, 308. Your Philadelphia Eagles. So I give you the floor. What the hell do I know? What do you got, Donnie?
Yeah, here's what we got on this football game is, again, call me a homer, call me non-homer. I'm doing pretty well in the Eagles games, both for and against, and games that you want to wager on. The one thing, if you're looking at this football game, Gabe, and let's just not say you think the Eagles are a better team, which they are. You want to look from the Giants' perspective in this football game and what they bring to the table and what they've been bringing to the table for the past 6, 7, 8 weeks at this point. If you're heading into the football game, the Eagles do have a good defense. They have a good linebacking core, a front four that can get after you, and a solid secondary. When you look on the Giants' offense, Gabe, what do they have? A horrific offensive line, a horrific quarterback, no running game, no wide receivers to speak of out there. So when you're talking about covering a football game or you want to back a football team, Gabe, you want to at least make the case that they can come out and win this football game. Dallas played awful football last week and ran away with that game versus the New York Giants in supposedly a huge emotional game because Eli Manning was coming back. So we saw them get plugged last week. Is it still emotional this week because the Eagles are in town, or is everybody already given up saying don't win another football game because we don't want to ruin our draft pick? Eli Manning's shot. The Giants are shot. I'm not saying if you say, you know what, it's the third straight road game for the Eagles. There is some trends that lean towards that when you struggle. How much of a road game technically is it when you take the train up, a 30-minute ride or a 45-minute ride up to the Meadowlands versus a dead team, not a team that's playing for anything? If you're looking to bet the football Giants in this game, to me, how not only are they going to score points, where are the first downs coming from, and who even cares out there if they even do any of that?
All good points, Donnie. And, I liked the Giants last week. And not because I was in the Giants per se, but I like the Giants from the spot. All right, you got McAdoo fired. We talked about it. You got the GM fired. You got the coach fired. You got your Capital City goofball back and quarterback. You're playing at home. You're playing against a division rival. And Donnie, they dug down deep and played as good as they could fucking play and still lost by 20 points. And
yes, and I go back to last week. The game plan for the Giants was stupid. I loved it. You can watch the first half, Gabe.
Yeah, they did everything right.
Said, Eli, I'm not gonna put you. Yep, didn't play any bad situations. You go and take the lead, and I'm scratching my head going, if the Giants can hand off and play 3-yard outs and just say, we're not going to make a mistake, that's the way they have to play. But the minute it started to go awry, it went against them because they didn't want Eli Manning to throw. But I credit the game plan last week. I actually thought it was a really good one for the Giants.
No, I completely agree. But Donnie, you dig down deep. You gave it your all in that kitchen sink game, and you came up short. Are they digging down deep again? No. I'm not saying they're going to go out there and roll over, but we've seen them go out there and roll over for the most part. And this comes down to a talent situation. But to be honest with you, what would the point spread be if Carson Wentz was playing? 9? 8.5? One thing I've noticed, Donnie, the odds makers really haven't adjusted that much with the replacement of Foles in. Like as far as futures are concerned, the Eagles were plus 300 to win the NFC before the injury. Now they're plus 330. Fuck. And the Vikings were plus 330, 350. Now the Vikings are plus 300. So it's not like the Eagles went from being favorites to, now they're just the fifth favorite, middle of the pack. The odds makers said, all right, we'll move it 30, 40 cents, but we're not overreacting on this. The Eagles are a deep-ass motherfucking football team. And we've seen, if you put Nick Foles on the Buffalo Bills right now, he'll look like Nate Peterman. You put Nick Foles, with Zay Jones and fucking, Deontay Thompson as wide receivers, he's got problems. You put him on the Cleveland Browns, right? He's got problems. Nick Foles is surrounded, guys, by Nelson Aguilar. He's surrounded by Alshon Jeffrey, by Zach Ertz, by LeGarrette Blount, by a world-class offensive line, by Jay Ajayi. You have an aggressive defense. To me, the sky's not falling for the Eagles. I don't love this game, but I think the Eagles fucking probably beat them like 28-7 or something.
Yeah, and another interesting aspect from this game, I take this back even to when you're looking at football teams and how they go. If you remember back when the Pittsburgh Steelers game where Sam Bradford wasn't going to go, but you saw Case Keenum, there were some nice things you can do there. You get that bump the next week because the same thing is going on right now in the Eagles locker room, which is important because the Giants are a bad football team. They're rallying around Foles here. They want to put on a good show because they know, Gabe, if this game is 13-10 late in the fourth quarter, all panic ensues in the home state of Pennsylvania and Philadelphia. Like, we're not going anywhere. If they go out, they can ease a lot of their own mindset as well. Go out, win the game, 24-7, 24-10, 27-10, and walk away, say, see, our quarterback went down. We're still going to be able to evolve. They know how big of a football game this is psychology-wise for the Philadelphia Eagles themselves. They need to go out. They need to put effort. And again, we've all been screaming all year long. Can I see more of Jay Ajayi? Can I see more of the running game? We don't have to throw it 50 times. You'll know today to see how that overall just a more talented football team and a deep football team, Gabe. You're a good point on that one.
That is a good point that you just raised, Donnie, as far as I see people stating, like fantasy guys and shit. I was considering taking Nick Foles in DraftKings because I'm like, well, people are going to think there's this big drop-off, but he's still going to throw 2-3 touchdown passes. And there's a lot of people, well, they got to get him going acclimated in the offense and shit. I don't really think that. I think he knows the offense. I think everything's fine. I think, Donnie, like you just said, I think they run the ball, similar to what the Vikings we just talked about. If you're the Eagles, the last thing you need now is a domino effect. Oh, shit, fuck. Aguilar just fucking got hurt. You know what I mean? And I know you don't go in there worried about getting hurt, but at the same point in time, I think it's a lot of Nick Foles. He'll throw a little bit early, but ultimately, I think you just called it. I think you're going to get a heavy dose of Blunt and fucking Ajayi today because they cannot afford to lose Nick Foles. Like, Nick Foles gets hurt, your season's fucking over.
How do you want the game to start, Gabe? Do you want to run the ball, even if you don't even score? You get 2 first downs and you punt, or do you want to start off with a slant pass for a pick 6 in this one? Also, when you're looking at this, Gabe, Zach Ertz is going to come back into the fold. He didn't play last week. The Giants had 0 linebackers out there. They are going to eat them alive from the inside out, the Philadelphia Eagles today. And again, I don't want to sound homerish in this instant. I took the Eagles there. I laid the 7. I paid a little bit of juice for it to keep it right at the touchdown. But you look at every single aspect of this football game, Philadelphia Eagles versus Giants, every single one is towards the Eagles' factor. Does that always, work out in its favor? You are going on the road. I get that. But I just can't see the Giants, Gabe, putting up like 28 points in this football game. I can't see it.
Fucking swarm them, man. The one weakness with the Eagles is if you're a fucking world-class quarterback and you can throw darts and you can throw on the Eagles. Eli Manning's not a world-class quarterback that throws darts, and he doesn't have any wide receivers. And you guys get to the quarterback fast, and they don't have a ground game. It's a bad combination for them. And I can see the Eagles' defense. We talked about the offensive side of the football with Nick Foles. I can see the Eagles' defense really fucking these guys up, Donnie. Like, putting helmets in Eli Manning's back type shit all day long. I think Jim Schwartz is going to blitz the fuck out of them. And Manning doesn't deal well with blitzes. There's going to be batted balls, interceptions. I'm starting to buy in on the Eagles here a bit. I don't love laying 7.5 on the road, but let's put the Eagles in some sort of parlay or teaser here. We'll put it on. We'll put it on the table here. Well, it's right there. But you're laying the points. You said it. You're laying the points with them, right?
The points win because when off at the same, if you have that same game plan, like they played, you're right, Gabe. It gets back to your original point. They played amazing football, the Giants, to keep them in a ball game and got waxed in the second half. You can only hide from good NFL teams for so long. Over its fourth, I mean, you're going to have fumbles for the Eagles, interceptions, injuries out there just to be able to keep the Giants even in the football game. I just don't see it.
Yeah. I'm buying in. I don't, you got to lay what, 3.5? What is it first half right now? 3.5, 4? 4?
Yeah, if it's 7.5, it's probably going to be a 4.5. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I used to see it. The thing is, guys, the Giants might hang around early. They hung around last week early with the Cowboys, but the Giants, like Donnie just said, football, the better team wins. It's a physical sport. You get worn out. Depth counts. Basketball, you could have a jackass that's fucking hit 18 3-point shots and get by. Hockey, goalie can save your ass. Baseball, hey, our pitcher threw a no-hitter. Like Donnie said, football, there's no hiding. Eventually, the bigger man, it's like a UFC. Eventually, the stronger, better guy will fucking knock the other guy on his ass, Donnie. That's the way this shit works.
Last week, Gabe, I mean, let's take a look at the end of the, I believe it was the first half last week. How bad were they hiding Eli Manning? They had a 1st and 20. It was a 1st and goal, but they got a holding penalty. A 1st and 20, Gabe. Eli Manning handled the football 3 straight times. They gained 3 yards and kick a field goal. I got such a laugh out of that because you can't do that in the NFL, but they were hanging on for dear life just to try to stay close, and we'll see what happens today, but I don't think it's very good for the Giants, Gabe.
Aaron Rodgers comes back for the Green Bay Packers. Numbers are bouncing around. Some spots have it at 2.5. Some spots have it at 3. So there's not an there's not a stampede to the window right now of people betting on Aaron Rodgers in his return, although the general mainstream public seems to like the Packers and Rodgers. Rodgers has been in this situation twice before, guys, okay, in his career, in which he got hurt in the season, like significant injury, and was out for 2 months or 8 weeks, 7 weeks, etc. And both times he's come back late in the season. Both times that he came back, his first game, the first time he did it, he threw for 418 fucking yards and 4 touchdowns. And then the other time he came back, if you remember, in the season finale against the Bears about 3 years ago, and he actually threw for 306 yards and 2 touchdowns. So in Aaron Rodgers' 2 return games from injury, he's thrown for 6 touchdowns and 700 fucking yards. What we're hearing out of the Green Bay camp is that Aaron Rodgers has been good for the last 2 weeks. He just couldn't get hit, right? So he's been running around throwing bullets. They're like, no, he's 100%. And they said, you mean 100? No, they said 100%. Like, imagine he never missed. They said he's Aaron Rodgers. He's Aaron Rodgers. So I believe that. I think that you are going to get a real Aaron Rodgers, and suddenly Jordy Nelson will be back in the mix, and he'll be doing his thing. But Carolina, man, have won 4 of the last 5 football games, and I wonder how that Green Bay secondary is going to match up with the Packers. I got to give credit to the Panthers. Devin Funchess is balling right now. And I'll tell you what, Donnie, the Carolina Panthers have won 4 of the last 5 football games, with that only loss being on the road to the Saints.
I think you're on the right path here, Gabe, because when you take a look at Green Bay, to me, I mean, when you get late in the season, good football teams play really good defense. The one thing you're going to look at from Carolina's perspective, that front 7, even though they're going to be down Johnson and Shaq Thompson, it's still really good out there. And you're still going to have those, welcome back Jordy Nelson, welcome back Randall Cobb, who've been basically invisible all season. Now you're going to say, you know what? It's time to play football again, but maybe that timing just isn't there, Gabe. Maybe when you really need that play on 3rd and 8 where you use the scramble drill, Jordy Nelson goes right and Aaron Rodgers throws left, that's going to take place today. Do I think Aaron Rodgers is ready to play football? Yes, I do. But when you're already engaged in that mode like Carolina is in playoff mode, thumping a really good football team in the Minnesota Vikings last week, now you're coming home. You don't think they hear, Gabe? Oh, my God, Aaron Rodgers coming back. They're going to roll right over you, roll right over the Vikings. They're going to go win the Super Bowl right now. Carolina knows this, and on the downside of it,
Cam Newton doesn't have an ego. Hey, Donnie, you don't think Cam Newton's thinking, fuck Aaron Rodgers, man. I'm going to fucking steal this show today.
And then you look at the Green Bay defense. When you need to stop, Gabe, out here. Now, I know Captain Munderland's not going to play in this game. We've been, making, I don't want to say making fun of, but the Carolina secondary, not the greatest in the world, but the front 7 makes up for it. Ask me this, though. Green Bay's defense, you can run wild on that football team. If you watched the game last week with Cam Newton and the running backs, they went up and down the field running the football on one of the best defenses in football. It's going to feel like a breather in the football game going against the Packers. If I need a stop, I'm going to get it from Carolina's defense as opposed to Green Bay. Do I think this would be a really good football game to watch? Yes, I do. But on the road, you're asking for Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers to go down and win this football game, basically with a 2.5 or a 3+ out there. I still would lean Carolina Panthers in this football game.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is one guy. There's still the rest of the team that struggled to beat the Cleveland Browns. They needed the fucking overtime run, big run to beat the Buccaneers. And it's like they spent all this capital to if we get Rodgers back, Yeah, that's all good. You're not playing the Cleveland Browns. It's like the same shit with the Chargers. Oh, the Chargers are going to the playoffs. They're just so trendy. They're all, Phillip Rivers this. Guys, fuck. Who the fuck did they play in the last 4 weeks? The Washington fucking Redskins who quit 3 weeks ago? The Buffalo Bills when they fucking started a rookie quarterback for some reason. The Cleveland Brown game, which they didn't cover. And, we see a pattern here. I think Carolina is just a better team than the Green Bay Packers are, Donnie, with or without Aaron fucking Rodgers and his discount double check bullshit.
Yeah, no, I mean, you saw early in the week when people didn't think Rodgers was going to play, Gabe, that line opened up like 2.5, and sprung up to like 6.5 in some spots before it was bet back down. Do I think Aaron Rodgers makes that big of a deal? I do, but I need to see him out there playing football before I see it, and say, I'm just going to lay all the wood because he's back here. The one good thing is it's not like a Zeke Elliott suspension where, Gabe, 6 to 7 weeks, he's in Cabo San Lucas and away from the team, not even involved or engaged in anything football activities from like a game planning standpoint. Aaron Rodgers didn't leave. Aaron Rodgers has been there each and every week, getting coached up, getting ready for the playbook. He's stepping right back into this. We'll just see if he's not off, so to speak, saying, you know what, that one big play that makes a huge difference in a ball game, can he make that play today is what you're betting
on. Aaron Rodgers is not the best quarterback in the league. Tom Brady's the best quarterback in the league. And I'd rather have Russell Wilson than Aaron Rodgers. I'm not an Aaron Rodgers hater, though. I like Aaron Rodgers. But, Aaron Rodgers is good. I think I prefer Russell Wilson, personally. It's a tough game. I mean, listen, it's a playoff caliber game. This is one of we have 3 games of the day, or 3 or 4 really good games. And this is one of them, this game. But, Donnie, as far as the total is concerned, I think there will be some points. I don't think Carolina and Green Bay is going to be one of these 16-13 games. Rodgers is going to throw a couple of touchdowns. Nelson's going to get back in the mix. And then you mentioned it. The secondary Green Bay can be beat. They can be run on. You're going to have McCaffrey and Stewart fucking catching passes. And, you look at Minnesota and Green Bay were able to get to 47. Minnesota and Carolina, excuse me. I'm leaning with the over in this game. They're expecting some little bit of rain, but whatever. And nothing major, little, shower, sprinkle or whatever. I'm leaning with the over in this game. I think there's going to be some points. I think we're looking at one of these 27-24 style games,
I had it right around there, Gabe. Same thing as you, like a 31-24 style of game, which I do think Carolina can win this, but I do lean towards the over in this football game. I think it's a nice play. And let's get this out of the way here, Gabe, that, the screws and the plates and the shoulder, that Green Bay is going to come out all of a sudden, run wing T and hand the football off and not put him in danger. That's not going to be the case today. He's coming back to run the offense. Aaron Rodgers is going to throw that ball 35 to 40 times versus Carolina, Gabe, because the way you beat Carolina is not let's line up and play tough football and run in that at front 7. The way you beat them is through the air. That's what they're going to do. It's going to be a lot of passes from Aaron Rodgers, and you flip it on the other side. Carolina is going to score in this football game. I don't know what you've been watching out there for like the past 7, 8 weeks, 9 weeks with the Green Bay defense. They're terrible in the secondary. They don't stop the run. That's an awful combination for a quarterback that can scramble and run, have a power running game, and also work in some of that zone read option and also jet sweeps. I see points in this game. No doubt in my mind, Gabe, this game gets played into the 50s.
And you know what? I'm a closet Panther fan, right? I'm a Bills guy, but the Panthers are sort of my team in the NFC. I know this team really well. And as you stated, so they won 4 of the last 5 football games. What's the one game they lost? At New Orleans. I watched that game. They fucking were making plays, Donnie, on 1st and 2nd down. They were stopping Kamara. They were stopping Ingram. But if the Breeze was in a zone and they'd get him on 3rd and 8, and then bam, he would hit Michael Thomas. Or bam, Kamara would catch a screen pass. But you're exactly right. You're not lining up in the trenches and beating Ron Rivera's team in their fucking backyard 2 weeks before Christmas. Like they're kingpins in December at home too, Donnie. Cam Newton, last 4 games, record in December. He's like 26-4 in his career now, guys. The motherfucker doesn't lose in December, man.
Yep. Yeah, for the last 4 games, Gabe, Miami 45-21, Jets 35-27, New Orleans 31-21, Minnesota 31-24. It's not like you have that steady diet of 17-10, 17-14 games. They can open it up here, and the best part about it again,
85 to the over on the season, the Panthers, guys. And Green Bay are 9-4 to the over. How the fuck do we not take the over here?
Yep. Even in Green Bay games, did a little bit. Since Aaron Rodgers went down versus Minnesota, 43.5 is the average game, and that includes a shutout that Green Bay got shut out. 43.5 is the average total that they're hitting. So if you're telling me right now Aaron Rodgers isn't worth a field goal of offense for one team in here, just taking Green Bay into the effect, it's going over, Gabe. It's going into the 50s, no doubt.
The Cleveland fucking Browns and Green Bay Packers just put 48 up on the board with Brett Hundley and Deshaun Kaiser.
Conditions.
Yeah, over, guys. We're betting the fucking Panthers, and we're betting the over, man. We're going in, SEAL team style. Kick the fucking door in, and let's go. All right. Now it's my turn to be a little bit of a homer here. Although I don't like the half point move here. Buffalo Bills -3.5, over under 40. This shit's getting real right now. And I'm a big pessimist as a Bills fan, if you notice. Like, I'm not. We're going to the playoffs. I'm not one of those guys. I'm like, guys, chill out, settle down. Let's let 1 week at a time. But this is getting realer. Normally, Donnie, at this time of the year, the Bills have a faint hope of making the playoffs if they run the table and fucking 14 teams lose in the AFC type shit. Mm-hmm. No, they're in the playoffs right now. And Baltimore losing last week, that helped them. The Chargers losing last night, that helped them. It's getting scary almost. We're like, holy fuck, man, this is getting real. Like, the Bills control their own destiny right now. They play the Dolphins this week. They're at Foxborough next week. And then they wrap up the season with the Dolphins again in Miami. this is their last home game. The Buffalo Bills have been very good at home this year. They lost 2 games at home. They had that Saint game where the Saints ran down their throat, and they had the game against the Patriots. But they're 4-2 otherwise against the spread. They're 4-2 straight up and ATS at home. It's not a blizzard today, guys, but it's not nice. It's like 26 degrees type shit. It's cold. So Canadian, it's like -3, -4. It's windy. It's cold. It's dark. It's Buffalo. The Miami Dolphins have won 2 football games in a row. They're playing on a short week. And I like Georgia against Auburn a lot, guys, because I said, yeah, Auburn's been on a roll, man. And they beat fucking Georgia and they beat fucking whoever, and then they beat Alabama. But it's hard to play at that level on a weekly basis. It's not a letdown in the SEC Conference Championship game, but it's just fucking hard. It's like a fighter that fights amazing in 1 or 2 rounds. He's not quitting in the 3rd round, but he can't go as fast and he's not as strong. I look at the Dolphins like this. Short week, emotional win against the New England Patriots, who seem kind of flat and disinterested, who have been traveling all the fucking time. Now coming into Buffalo, who this shit's getting real, man. The Bills can go to the playoffs. Like, they look in the playoff. There's not, oh, well, we might make the playoffs. It's like, no, guys, we're in the playoffs. We're a playoff team. Let's go out here and handle our business and defend the den. And that's what they do, man. The Buffalo Bills are a good home team. They're fucking fired up here. Short week. I think Jay Cutler implodes today. I think the Bills shut down Kenyon Drake. I think you get the ugly, bad Jay Cutler, and the Buffalo Bills win in their typical Bills fashion, an ugly fucking football game.
You're right, Gabe. The one thing looking at this, I don't have a huge deciding factor in this one, but I do lean towards teams that technically still need it more, going to be playing at home. And that's a nice bump last week. I mean, you play in the snow, you pull one out, you're still looking towards next week. We know it's going to be the New England Patriots coming up, and we'll see if you can beat them. But today is today, as I like to say. The one thing, Gabe, you're right. This is one of those games where bet not. The Bills 3.5. I don't like the Bills as much here because I see it as, it's a normal division game. Both these teams know each other. You're right. Cutler's coming up. It's going to be freezing cold, but they still do have some weapons on the outside. Tyrod Taylor a little bit banged up, and I've seen Bills football at home when they get up for the big game. And when I'm talking about big games, Gabe, I mean, this isn't New Orleans coming to town, right? This isn't the New England Patriots coming to town with, the single best quarterbacks in the NFL that can just take you apart when they get hot. You're still looking at a team coming in here saying, hey, guys, it's really cold. We're probably not going to make the playoffs. Let's see what happens here. It would be Bills or nothing in this game, Gabe, but I can't have the 3.5.
You can deliver a dagger, too. You can be like, all right, we can eliminate the Dolphins with this win, which will make them not care about the game that we play in 2 weeks at them. And, it's the last home game for the Bills. They're going to Foxborough next week. This is the biggest game for the Bills season right now. Yeah. And it is every week from here on out. This is the last home game. We got the Patriots next week. And we got 2 road games. They absolutely positively need to fucking win this football game, Buffalo. All right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and they're going to win. Tyrod Taylor is back, and he's good to go. He was close to playing last week, so he's good to go now. Taylor's back, and so is Charles Clay. Massive difference maker. Before Charles Clay and Taylor always get injured, these two had a great chemistry. Charles Clay was their leading receiver. He really provides another dynamic to the offense for the Buffalo Bills. But as you stated, that 3.5, don't be surprised if the Bills won by 3 on a field goal. I think I'm going to buy the 0.5 point and make it 3. I'm comfortable that the Bills will win by 6 or so. Jay Cutler will turn the ball over. The Dolphins will make a few plays. Jay Cutler will turn the ball over. I don't think Cutler's going to play well up there in Buffalo today. I think the Bills' defense is really going to terrorize them. And the Miami Dolphins never have a fun time up here. They beat us last year because fucking Rex Ryan punted the ball in overtime because he's a fucking idiot. But I like the Bills in this spot. I think it's a good spot for them here in their final home game of the year.
Under that game coming in 39-40. Because I don't see you don't really see him going up and down the field in cold weather with the Dolphins, or do you at this point? Because I don't even have a feel for the actual style of these two.
Nah, I wouldn't expect it to be. The Bills' offense is pretty pedestrian. Let's be real. Yeah, but after running in the snow last week, yeah, it's tough. I don't have a strong opinion on the total, but I am going to buy the. You know what? I'd lean with the under. Well, I bet a lot of unders in this series, and they creep over sometimes. If you look at the past history of these of the football games, what do we got? Last year,
9.5, 40 points. It's to take unders. Like, they got to be stone cold unders, like slow pace out there running. And I don't know.
Yeah, they're both. The thing is, Donnie, with totals, they're both right there. Like, the Bills are 6 and 7 on totals. You know, they're the 6 overs, 7 unders. The Dolphins have 7 over, 6 unders. They don't really play to like consistent numbers, these teams. But, like, you know, a good example is last year, Donnie, 34-31, 28-25. 33-17, 41-14. Holy fuck. The last 4 games in the series have gone over the number, which makes me like the under a lot today.
Coming up cold weather. And again, you're still Gabe, if you're looking at an over-under, like, I like to bet later games here. If you look at this game and both these teams were out of the playoffs, they probably would steamroll that and end up, 34-27 final, because nobody really gives a damn on defense. But the fact that, one team is definitely hanging in the playoffs, the other team can say, hey, if we string together a couple wins, who knows out there? Usually you tend to play a little bit lower scoring of the game, because again, both of these offenses, when you look at it, it doesn't scream shootout to me as it starts,
Yeah, you know what? I'm starting to buy into the under here. Give me the Bills minus the 3. I'll buy the half point. Bills win 17-10 in that range. And there'll be more field goals. It'll be, be a weird score. Fuck, 19-12 or something stupid. I don't know. Yeah, Eric says 24-14. Exactly, Eshin. You know what you're talking about. The fucking Bills, guys, fucking owned the Miami Dolphins for fucking years. Until that shitbag Rex Ryan showed up and we got swept by them. Fuck. Yeah, the Bills are going to win this game. Lay to 3. I like where we're going with the under here. Under 40. There's 39 and a half. 41 is that key number, to be honest with you. But I like where we're going. All right, we've been focusing in on certain games a lot. But it's okay because a lot of these other games suck. So we won't spend too much time on them. Houston and Jacksonville. 10 and a half. You got an opinion on this one, Donnie? Total 39?
It's funny. I waited to have an opinion on this. I don't like the fact that Leonard Fournette's going to miss this football game. I don't like the fact that last week was such an emotional win. When we talked about it, Gabe, oh my God, Seattle's in town. Now's the time where we throw our, sword in the dirt and say, this is our home field. We're a real football team. Now you get that out of the way. And also I was hoping for maybe one of those mysterious injuries. I saw DeAndre Hopkins hobbled all during the week. Maybe you get that late last minute inactive that Hopkins is down. How much does Jacksonville really want this football game? Are they going to win the game to me? Yes. Do I think they're the far superior team? Yes, I do. But Jacksonville's MO out there is not to say, you know what? I'm going to beat you down like 41-10 in this scenario. I know they've beaten the Colts, by 3 touchdowns. Was it 30-10 a couple weeks ago? But games like this where you have playmakers, the DeAndre Hopkins, you still have Will Fuller, you still have a decent running back, beating a team by what, 10.5, 11 points, you actually have to stomp them out. And you're going to take their hammer out of their backfield. And again, this is still a team learning how to win, Gabe. Monster win last week. Emotional game. Fight at the end of the football game. Now you got to roll your helmets out here and play a team that's dead in the water. I don't know how they're going to take it, which is why I didn't like to bet it unless Hopkins was sitting out. I don't have much of a play on this game other than the fact that responds in this game.
New York Jets and the New Orleans Saints. Yeah, I've got nothing on Houston Jazz. If I can add nothing to Donnie's situation here. If I had to bet it, which I don't, I would take the Jacksonville Jaguars, but I'm not taking it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not taking it. I'm still going to find something to match up with the Eagles here, though. So we like the Bills minus the 3. We like the Panthers minus the 2.5. We like the over in the Panthers game. We like the under in the Bills game. So we're building a little bit of a card here. Leads me into the Jets and the Saints. I'd like to take the Jets plus 16, Donnie. But does this get out of hand with Bryce Petty? And I'm not laying 16. I want to take the 16, but right now, as I ask you, I'm passing on this game unless you convince me otherwise.
Gabe, the one thing when we're looking at 16 and a half, it doesn't matter what football team it is. There's still NFL teams. You're looking at a team that might get eviscerated on the field in order to have to cover that 16 and a half. It's one of those games, Gabe, that I take a look at and I say, well, how might they play this game? We're looking at a team with the Jets, and if you haven't heard, Mo Wickerson gets suspended. That means guys on the team aren't serious at this point in the season, even though they were playing hard for most of the year. Sort of that bottom floor fell out. You get the quarterback hurt. You don't play that well in Denver. Now you're heading down to a team that's very good, the New Orleans Saints, where they play very good in their home stadium. home stadium. The one thing that you look at, Gabe, is you have Bryce Petty coming in this game. You don't really know what you're going to get out of it, but you know, you have that feeling that you sort of do. Do you see extended drives on offense by Bryce Petty on the road in that dome that's going to be able to get it done? I don't see it happening, but on the flip side, there's bigger fish to fry again for the New Orleans Saints heading down the stretch. Do they want to go out there and expend all their energy in a 45-10 football game, knowing that they have a banger coming up in the next couple weeks where they still have to decide the division? It's one of those games, Gabe, if you can get like 9.5 or so, I don't really know what the first half is. If we're looking at 16.5, I'm going to say it's probably 10 or 9.5. One of those games where New Orleans knows what they have to do, 21-3, 24-3 at the half. Then they sort of coast in the second half, which I don't want to be part of covering the 16. I like the first half in this game. I think they'll be up 2 touchdowns by the half.
It's -10. It's funny. We keep saying, oh, what the first half. So just quickly, yeah, it's -10.
-10. I would still take that. I would rather have, Gabe, the -10 in the first half than the 16 overall, because in that fourth quarter, out saying, hey, big game next week, and maybe it's a 21 game to get the late score. I think New Orleans can win and cover easily the 16, but I don't want to play with that late in the game. I know New Orleans is going to be on the gas, Gabe, in the first and second quarter. I think they'll be up 2 touchdowns.
And for the record, the Philadelphia Eagles are -4.5 in the first half.
I like it.
Interesting. Tempting. Tempting. Eagles -4.5. Tempting. All right. Yeah, this game, you know, to be honest, if I really had to give you a score right now for the Saints-Jets, I'd probably say it ends up like 44-16 or 44-21 or something like that. I have a hard
one of those. One thing I worry about, though, is that late in the game when nobody really cares, I know Robbie Anderson's going to catch like a 65-yarder with 2.5 minutes to go because nobody cares. That's the thing I'm trying to guard against. I know in the first half they'll be all about it, getting after it, but that last 5-6 minutes of the game, the Jets do have some wide receivers that can put it up if you put it out there. I don't want any part of that.
Hey, Donnie, there's not a lot of times you're betting an NFL game that you're going to be up by 23 points with 4 minutes left and you're worried about a backdoor cover.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You could be up by 22. Hey, look, it's 42-18. Oh, shit, but if they scored, we lose. Like, you know? That's why I hate that shit. Like, you do the math. Like, yeah, we're up by 35. Yeah, but they're not going to cover if they so, yeah, that's a dangerous one. All right, this next game, I'm kind of leaning with Arizona, but fuck are they ever bad when they leave the desert, Donnie.
Everybody banged up, Gabe. Both sides of the football in this one. I got asked a couple times about this football game throughout the week. Arizona, Washington. You know, how much does Arizona have left in the tank? The one thing I will say about Bruce Arians' coached football teams, especially this year, Gabe, they don't give up, and they're beating some pretty good football teams at home, as we like to say. Now you're going to go on the road, you lose another offensive lineman. Who's going to show up? Kirk Cousins does play fairly well at home, but when you look at this game, Gabe, Washington showed you last week what they really thought about their football season and heading down the stretch. Everybody's checked out. I'm like, is Washington like going to show up at the ballpark today, Gabe? Like, you know what? Let's take this game down and see what happens. I see a closer type of involvement. I like the way Arizona's played. Can Arizona win the football game? I guess. 4 points at this point, 4.5 in some spots. I'm more tempted, Gabe, to actually lean on the points with Arizona than I am taking Washington in this spot. I don't like this football game very much, but I would lean Arizona.
Me too. I think Arizona come in, as you stated. Arians pisses me off at times. But Arizona come in as a collective unit. They don't all hate each other. It's not like, oh, well, this is done. This is done. Kirk Cousins is leaving. Everyone knows. And they've gone through this dance for years, and it's finally out of the line. And I'm starting to see Cousins throw the ball out of bounds a little bit now, Donnie. I'm thinking Cousins is in fuck it mode now. These guys treated me like shit for years. They don't even want me. If they wanted me, they could have fucking gave me the contract. They didn't. And now I'm going to get killed scrambling around for these fuckheads. And Daniel Snyder, fuck this. For who and for what? And then meanwhile, you got Arizona, who they have pride. They do compete. You know, they haven't quit on the season. You know, they try every week. They get overwhelmed sometimes with talent. Yet Washington really haven't shown us anything. And the injuries to the Washington Redskins as well. They're beating down football team. I like Arizona here, but I don't love it. I mean, it's, you know, betting Arizona-Washington is like betting one of those shitty bowl games yesterday. Yeah. This is Georgia State, Western Kentucky. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you might have an angle on it, but it's a shitty game. You're warned. But there's no way in fucking hell, Donnie, that I would walk to the window and bet -4 on the Redskins against anybody right now.
No. It looks like they put that fork in the season last week, and Arizona's still trying to ride it out. I don't know. I mean, these are professional players too, especially when you say, Arians might not come back or whatever. It sounds nice. Like college kids and high school kids get really excited or amped up saying, "Win one for the coach." These guys are cashing paychecks in the NFL. They don't give a damn who their coach probably is next year. Yep.
They play for themselves, and it doesn't mean they quit because contracts, and it's hard to stay in the league. So
yeah, sure.
It's one thing when people say, "Oh, they're going to this and that." The players don't. But it's just the overall environment of a team. And, I tell you, Donnie, I think the Redskins quit on Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. Or it wasn't Thanksgiving, the Dallas game. Whenever they played against Dallas, one of those TV games.
Yep. And then last week, embarrassed again. You're right.
Like the Redskins, really, they're not showing any pride. Like, they're not tackling. And even Cousins. And Cousins is so competitive. He nearly a fucking attack. Remember, he nearly beat up that ref in this kid's game. Yep. Like, Cousins is one of these alpha male competitive guys. And even him, he doesn't even seem mad anymore. He's sort of like a kid at school, Donnie, 2 weeks left. All right, I'm out of here. I'm graduating. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's gone. Yeah. He's gone. So I don't put a lot of stock in him. If you had to play it, I lean Arizona in this game, guys. All right, Baltimore and Cleveland, another really weird game here, Donnie, in which it wouldn't surprise me if Baltimore won the game 20-3. It wouldn't surprise me if Baltimore won the game 17-14. They won and they didn't cover. And it wouldn't shock me if Joe Flacco just completely bit the bullet and the Cleveland fucking Browns beat them. I don't know what to do with this one.
Yeah, here's the best part about this game. Seemingly say this every week, right? The line opens up 7.5, 8, depending on where you're out. And now all of a sudden it's Sunday morning again, and maybe it's those sharps, or they open up their paper and go, you know what? Now's the Browns week. They're going to get the job done. They're going to win, and they're going to cover. I know they covered a couple of weeks back, but again, we're looking at less than a touchdown, people, with the Browns. You're anticipating them being extremely physical out there, ready to go and ball. And, oh my God, Gordon's back in offense. That's just going to turn it all around out there. It's still the Cleveland Browns. Do I want to bet on the Baltimore Ravens going on the road and have to win by a touchdown division? I don't. But again, money on the Cleveland Browns whatsoever until that entire regime changes, where I know they can get some competent head coaching. Can we see the same thing, Gabe? Let's go late in the fourth quarter. Hey, look at that. They're a 14-10 lead for Cleveland with 8 minutes to go. 24 to 17 or 16 or 14. You don't even get to cover with the Cleveland Browns. It happens every single week. If you want to bet Cleveland first half, because heading down the stretch, they're completely inept in whatever they're doing.
That's a good point. It's a good point. I'm not taking. I told you guys, I'm not betting every fucking game. Like, I would. Nothing that happens in this game would surprise me, like Donnie just stated. And it wouldn't shock me if the Cleveland Browns were on the verge of beating them and they fumbled on the 1 yard line. And it wouldn't shock me if they got shut out 20-0. It wouldn't shock me if Flacco sucked and Cleveland actually won a fucking game. Like, I don't know. I'm not betting it. It's a fucking pile of crap. 4:05. And for the record, guys, I should have brought this up. Donnie, we're doing a betcast in the afternoon today, buddy. Do you know that?
You are. You and the big man going to go. Yeah. And again, Gabe, I like it. They flexed you out on SBR, which the NFL somehow can't do.
It was my idea. I said, just because the NFL doesn't flex doesn't mean we don't have to. And I knew when I saw the ESPN crew pulling the old College Game Day shit when they're outside the stadium. Come on, man. The only thing is, there's going to be a bunch of people showing up tonight is Sunday. Where the fuck are these guys? You come on at 7:30, so you're going to come on right after, right? Yeah, you can join us late if you want during the game. So we're going to be on.
Right over. Like last week, the Eagles-Rams game damn near went to 8 o'clock, it felt like last week. That late game's going to go a long way. So.
Oh, yeah. Especially with these teams. You're right. Okay, so Rams and Seahawks at 4:05. Quickly on this, and we'll get to our best bets. Or you want to give our best bets now, and then we'll get to the 4 and 5 games, Donnie. Why don't we, so people can get our picks in? What do you like?
I've been giving this one out all week. I'm not going to back off of it right now. I see some lines out there, 46.5. I got the line at 46.5. That's the Green Bay Packers, Carolina Panthers over. I know there's 47s out there, so just to be fair right now, I'll still go with the 47. I think this game gets played into the low to mid-50s in this football game. I like this game going over the total, so we'll start with that one. Green Bay, Carolina over 47. We'll go that for the show. And the second one I just picked up and actually played a little bit on myself. New Orleans -10 in the first half versus the New York Jets. 24-3, 24-10, 24-6, something in that realm. I just think the Jets maybe have checked out on the season when the New Orleans Saints are going to be able to be loaded for bear in that first half. Give me the 2-touchdown lead as opposed to the full game 2-touchdown winner. I'll go with New Orleans first half -10 is my 2 plays at 1 o'clock, Gabe.
Donnie, I'm in agreement with your first play here, and I'm going to tag it and copy it, paste it. Give me Carolina and Green Bay over the number. We discussed it. Both teams are over machines. Green Bay are 9-4 to the over. Carolina is 8-5 to the over. Both offenses. Donnie ran through the numbers. You look at 4 of the last 5 football games. They've scored 30 or more points essentially. Carolina's offense is starting to get into a groove right now. Cam Newton's healthy. He's in a good mood. You're getting good Cam. McCaffrey's making plays. Jonathan Stewart punching in the end zone. Devin Funchess making plays. They got a nice thing going here. I'm not the biggest Mike Shula fan, but we went through the numbers with Green Bay. I mean, the Cleveland Browns scored 21 on them last week with Deshaun Kaiser and company. I'm going to lay the 2.5. If it's 3, I'll pay the 2. I'll buy the half point, but it's 2.5 at some spots. I'm going to lay the 2.5 for the Carolina Panthers. I think they win their 5th game in 6. And the Cam Newton shuts up the mainstream media. Like we said, I remember we talked about it. Cam Newton does the Superman thing, and he gets death threats and hate mail, and the league doesn't like him giving the fucking ball to kids. Aaron Rodgers acts like a jackass and does a championship belt thing when he scores, and he gets an insurance ad out of it. It's funny how that works. I think Cam Newton's going to silence it. And the Carolina Panthers are a better football team. They win this football game. The game goes over the number. Like Donnie said, I think we're looking at 27-24, 30-24, 30-27. It's going to get there. Buffalo Bills, circle the wagons. Miami Dolphins playing on a short week, have won back-to-back games. I'm going to put money. I'm going to put my money where my fucking mouth is that Jay Cutler doesn't do that again. And that we shut Cutler down. Buffalo Bills last home game on their home field, 4-2 on this field this year, straight up and against the spread. Make it 5-2. And I think it does creep under the number there. And in a forced pick, all right, let's fucking, give me the Arizona fucking Cardinals plus the 4 points. That's like the little sprinkle McDonald's meal, Donnie.
Yes, you got to you got to supersize it up there, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's not the big one, but I like the Carolina Green Bay game over a lot. And the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm going to parlay, I'm going to parlay or tease here. What do we do with this? So you got the 7. Do I go Eagles down to a pick 'em, Arizona Cardinals plus 11?
I can't see the Eagles lose today, though. You know what I mean? I just can't see it.
All right, Rams, Seattle. Give me a second here. I'll put together a teaser. Rams, Seattle. Donnie, what's your take on this one?
Maybe, I'm interested to see what the weather is. I'm getting some reports in there. Normal Seattle weather. You get that and rain in there.
It's going to be raining there. It's going to be raining.
Yeah, I can't. Teams when you match up saying they're going to get a lot of stops.
Heavily, Donnie. Not just like it's going to be that Seattle, Pacific Northwest rain. Supposedly, that's the worst weather of the day.
And the one thing I'm worried about there with Seattle's defense is itself. I mean, you see Wagner and you see Wright. I think Wagner's going to give it a go, but still on one leg with that hamstring injury. Not sure if the other linebacker is going to go. A lot of injuries, but are we ready to see the Los Angeles Rams go into this type of environment, Gabe, and pull out a massive winner, stake your claim to that division, and move on to the playoffs? I'm not sure that they can actually do it at this time. Do I think they're the better overall football team? Robert Woods back at wide receiver. Gabe, how many times do you see Russell Wilson in an environment where it's a close game in the fourth quarter in Seattle, be able to pull it out, make the plays? I don't love the football game, but I'm finding myself, Gabe, really hard to go against Russell Wilson in this spot at home. I think Seattle can get it done, even though they're extremely banged up. Russell Wilson pulls out miracles at home. I think he does it again today.
All right, Donnie's mic's cutting it out a little bit there. I don't know if you guys, you guys, people are having a little hard time hearing you, Donnie. Why don't you check out and check back in? Why don't you log right back in here? I'm telling you, it's those mics, man. And I had a problem with my mic, too. I'm not using a mic. I'm using, directly off the laptop. It's Google Hangout. Guys, it's not Donnie's fault. I was doing a podcast this morning before I joined you guys. Same shit. I had a mic plugged in, and it starts doing weird fucking shit. It's like a flaw with Google Hangout or something like that. I don't know what it is. How do I sound? All right. Mine's just off like the computer, so I don't have a fancy mic or anything. I'm just talking right into the fucking laptop. It's funny. I don't have a camera set up either. Fuck. I'm like, fuck it, man. Fuck the cameras, the fucking angles and weird lighting and fucking mic sounds. Old school. We're not on fucking, we're not on the set of Batman here. This isn't a $200 Hollywood movie. We're trying to give you winners. What's your teaser suggestion? Oh, we still don't have Donnie back. Donnie's lost. What's your teaser suggestion? All right, guys, I got to get my bets in right now. I didn't get my bets. I'm kind of freaking out here. I'm trying to click in. All right, so I just clicked the Bills -3. Wow, Green Bay and Carolina just went to 46.5. So I'm going to buy the half a point, make it 46. I don't lose by half points. It just bothers me. I don't care. I'd rather spend the 10 cents. I'm not putting myself in this spot. It's like Bobby Knight. And you will not put me in that spot ever again. Panthers, -2.5. Here we go. -125. There we go. $200. I've got $845 in one account here. So I just put 200 on the Bills, put 200 on the Panthers. I like the over of this game. Alternative total over. Give me the over 46, just so I don't get screwed by that half point. Is it 46.5? What are you talking about? Oh, there it is. Yeah, over 40. Oh, it is now. -110. It went to 46. Wow. The total just fell a full point to 46. Nice. I'm running out of money here. So what? I got 446 left. All right, let's go 150 on the over. All right. And now what are we going to do with this Eagles game, guys? It looks like Donnie's got some technical problems for real. He's not coming back here. You couldn't hear him. I was like, fuck, what are we going to do? Me and Donnie will be back at the half. And spread the word, guys. You guys are aware. There's no Sunday night betcast tonight. It's the Cowboys and the Raiders. I like the Cowboys in this game for the record. But I don't love it, but that's what I'm leaning with. But we decided to do the cool Steelers game. So me and Big Man are going to come on at 4:15. Even though he's tweeting 4:25. All right, what was your play, Varnum? Do I just lay the 7 with the Giants? Tease it with the Vikings, says Blanchard. Tease the Eagles with the... I thought, Varnum, I was going to do that, Varnum. You read my mind. I like that. I like taking the over in the game and then just having that little cushion in case it doesn't get to 46. Oh, it got to 41, but I hit the teaser. MMA cashy. Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. MMA cashy bets. Why don't I just sit here 24 hours a day for you? Yeah, I don't trust the Eagles laying the full 7, guys. It's 7.5. So let's go money line parlay. Fuck it. With the Jacksonville Jaguars. Fuck, though. It's -193. I can't do that. It's too high. 7-point teaser. You know what would be smart is to fucking take this with the Seahawks, but I like the Seahawks already. I don't need to tease that game. Fuck it. We'll do it live. I said we'll do it live. Bill O'Reilly. I don't know what that means. take us out, Sting, what? Fuck it. I'm going to buy the half a point, and we're laying 7. Fuck the teasers. Fuck the parlays. Let's be a man. Massive bet. $100. Massive bet. $100 on Eagles -7. Fuck it all, man. We'll do it live. All right, so we put $200 on the Bills. We took $200 on the Panthers. We put $150 on the over of the Panther game, and we just put $100 on Eagles -7. Saves me $196 to do a little in-game, maybe a little halftime betting. It's a beautiful thing about in-game betting right now. There's no real kickoff. You can bet this shit right now. So enjoy the games, guys. We'll see you at the half. Spread the word. Remember, me and Big Man are going to be on at 4:15 right here. We'll during the Seahawks game. We'll focus in on that big Patriot and Steeler game. Me and Donnie Rightside will give you our breakdowns and our predictions for the Steelers and the Patriots at the half of these first games. May the winners be yours, guys. Other than that, you're on your own later.